Hey guys, it's Kate. Welcome back to my channel. So if you guys are not living under a rock, you have probably heard of COVID-19, coronavirus, everything else that people are calling it. So you're probably either practicing social distancing or you are at home under quarantine. I am under quarantine and my next video will probably explain why. As far as I know, I do not have it. I'm not showing any symptoms, but I certainly could have been infected by it, so it's just better to be safe than sorry. And also, like, we're all off from school, we're all off from work, so I'm just kind of chilling at home. But I'm super, super bored. Like, I'm literally so sick of watching YouTube videos and watching movies, and there's nothing to do. Like, I'm so bored. So I figured I would make some YouTube videos for you guys, not only just because I have nothing to do, but because you guys probably don't have that much to do either. And I kind of just want to be a little creative and make some content while I'm just waiting to leave my house. It just gives me something to do. It gives you guys something to do. So yeah, I just thought maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know why I'm being so awkward right now. But I have my straight natural hair right now. I don't think I've made a video with my natural hair in a really long time. I'm wearing pajamas. I have my little iced coffee, which is not very good because it's from my house and not from an actual coffee shop. So that's very disappointing. But we do what we can. So I asked you guys to send me questions on Instagram, and today I will be doing a little quarantine Q&A. So let's just get into it. So the first question is, how do you study the Bible? Elaborate, please. So I pretty much use the YouVersion app, which is a Bible app. I'm sure you guys have all heard of it, but it's very convenient because there are thousands and thousands of plans on there that you can use to study the Bible. And it's really cool because it's kind of like you can study the Bible your way. So if you want to do like the year plan and read through the Bible, you can do that. Or if you want to do focused plans, you can do that. I am currently doing a bunch of focused plans. So at the beginning of the year, I was doing a lot of plans about just forgiveness and love and happiness and overcoming like bitterness and stuff like that. And if you guys haven't seen my video on loneliness, then you probably wouldn't know why, but if you guys have seen that, you probably know why. But those plans were very helpful to me. So that's kind of how I study the Bible, is I use focused plans. I'm currently reading plans about just seasons of waiting, compassion, loving others, prayer. And then if there's something I don't understand, I study it by, searching, what does this word mean? What does this context mean? Talk to my dad, who's my pastor, what do you think it means? I think it's important that, when we're studying the Bible, we're really understanding what we're reading. So that's kind of how I do it. And then I also have like a little journal that I use to write down, different things from the Bible and like what I'm thinking about it, stuff like that. But I definitely want to get a more focused Bible study plan, which I found one that looks really good. So whenever I get it, I will definitely let you guys know what my thoughts are. The next one is the hardest thing you've had to deal with in your faith. So for those of you who have not been watching my videos for a while, you probably wouldn't know that I am a PK. I'm not one of those people that's going to put it in my Instagram bio just because, like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's just like, why do we need it in there? So I have definitely gone through a lot of just like heartache and loss because of just the position that my family is in. I've been a PK since I was about 1 year old. So I've been in this for like a long, long time. And I've seen people come, people go. I've seen people treat my family well and treat them badly. And I've just gone through a lot personally because of that, a lot of like heartache and sadness. And so I think the hardest thing I've had to deal with is just loss, just loving people so much and caring for them so much, only for them to just turn around and betray you and leave and not really give you any reason why, and just continuing to love them from afar, not really being able to like talk to them because they kind of turn their backs from you. And so that's kind of been the hardest thing I've had to deal with. And it's definitely hard, but I think it's just one of those things, like, you just cling even closer to your family and to God, and you just hope that those feelings pass and that God gives you peace. And every time he has, and he's, restored me and restored us. And so it's hard, but it's something that doesn't last forever. What are the struggles of being an Instagram influencer? Well, the first thing I want to say is I have never called myself an Instagram influencer. I've never referred to myself as an influencer at all. And I really don't like using that terminology. I understand why people would call me that just because, I do make faith-focused videos and I am, pretty open about my beliefs. And, if I see injustices happening online, I'm going to speak out about them. And so I could see why, that terminology would be used to describe me, but that's never been something that I was like, yeah, I'm an influencer. Yeah, I want to be an influencer. Like, that was never something that I wanted to do. It just kind of happened. When I first started making YouTube videos, I was making like funny videos or hair videos or stuff like that. But it kind of slowly turned into more like faith-based videos and videos to kind of help others and just kind of be like a friend slash like big sister figure. And so I guess I could see why people kind of shifted into calling me that. But I think the hardest thing about having that title when it's not something that I ever wanted or something I even call myself is just the fact that there's all these expectations and ideas about me that just aren't true. And obviously I'm not gonna, get online and try to defend myself every day and try to argue with people because it's just not worth it. But it's difficult when you have all these expectations and you have all these ideas and all these things being said and that's not something that you ever wanted. So I think the biggest struggle for me is just like, realizing that like at this point, like I put my name out there and I've put my ideas out there and I have, kind of become more of like an influencer type of person than I originally had planned to be, and that there are some responsibilities that come with that. And so while I don't really like the term, if that's what I'm going to be called, like I'm going to use my platform for good and to help others. So yeah, I guess that's to answer your question. I don't know if I did a great job of answering that question, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. In the roughest life moments, what kept you going and pushing to live for God? I think in the roughest moments, I really just cling hard to my family and very close friends because, not everyone understands what I'm going through and kind of how my mind works and how my emotions work. And so these people really know me and they know like what I need and what helps me. And so that's kind of what's helped me and kept me going. And of course, just whenever I, need peace or I need to feel joy again, I really just pray about it, and God always restores, no matter what. And sometimes it takes some time because it's in his timing, but he has never failed to just wrap his arms around me, and that's really what keeps me going. So I had a lot of people ask if I was single or if I had a boyfriend. So the answer is I am single. If I had a boyfriend, I would for sure post about him. I'm definitely one of those people that would be all up on Instagram talking about, look how cute my boyfriend is. Like, I'm 100% that girl. So yeah, if I had a boyfriend, I for sure would be posting about him. And whenever I do get one, you guys will be the first to know because I'm just not the type to be trying to keep it a secret. Like, I for sure would like to gas up my boyfriend online and be posting selfies of him. And yeah, the 100% will be the girlfriend that's on Instagram talking about their boyfriend all the time, just because I think it's cute. So yeah. Are you open to being in another relationship? Yes, I am open to being in another relationship. I have been single for about like a year and 2 or 3 months now. So it has been a while since I've been in a relationship. I have been on a few dates since then. It's never been like anyone that I'm really interested in. It's always just kind of been like, oh yeah, this feels more like a friend thing. So while I am open to the idea, I'm not actively searching for a relationship because I am content in being single. I'm content with just hanging out with friends and just, learning more about myself. I think the issue with my last relationship, which was also my first relationship, was just that like I personally was not ready. I wasn't like emotionally ready to be with someone, and I wasn't emotionally ready to receive so much attention from someone because I've always been a very independent person. I've never been the type of person that enjoys someone being like very in their face and being like all about them. I don't like a lot of attention, and I've never felt like I needed it either. So when I was receiving so much, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And so I think I was kind of just scared because I had never really been committed to someone in like a romantic way. It was always just like a friendship with someone that I was obviously committed to because they were my friend or family or whatever. But a relationship is a whole new thing. You really need to be, open and honest and have really good communication. And I just think like I wasn't ready at that time, but I think I've learned a lot since then. And so I think I am ready more now as I'm older, but I'm definitely not actively searching for one. I'm content in this stage of my life, and if it happens, it happens. So that's kind of like where I'm at with that. How do you balance college, work, and church activities? What's your schedule like? So to be honest, my schedule is very monotonous. It's very consistent. I work Monday through Friday. I have school Monday through Thursday. I'm at the church 2 to like 4 times a week, depending on what's going on. I usually get to work at around 6:30 a.m. I leave at like 8 a.m. or 8:30. Then I go to class, which is either at like 9 or 10 and goes till 12 or 1. And then I pick my nanny kids up from school at around 3, and then I'm off around 6. And yeah, so my schedule is very consistent each week. It's very monotonous. I used to kind of keep track of it all in a planner, and I would like make a list for each week. But after a while, I realized like my weeks are just very similar, and I don't need like a schedule because it's always the same, which can get like kind of, monotonous and boring. But it's also helpful because I do enjoy consistency. And so it's cool because I always know like where I need to be at this time and what I need to do at this time. So it's helpful, and it is easy to juggle all of it because, it's predictable. And because I'm off around 6, usually I'll go hang out with friends after work, or I'll go home and do homework. Yeah, that's kind of how my schedule goes. Okay, this is interesting because it's like an advice question, and I enjoy those. I'm 21 years old and I have a crush on a girl. She is 18 years old. Is that weird? No, that's not weird because she is 18 years old, so she's an adult. I think if she was like 16, it'd be a little weird because she's a minor, but she's an adult, you're an adult. It's not weird. It's pretty normal. And emotionally, you're probably around the same age as her anyways because girls are way more mature than boys, so you're fine. Any tips or tricks to thrift or online shopping? By the way, you're absolutely stunning. Thank you so much, Aubrey. So are you. Tips or tricks to thrift? I'm not the best at thrifting, to be honest. Like, I'll go to the thrift store and I'll find like one thing, but I'm trying to get better at it. But obviously, I really can't go to the thrift store right now and try to get better because, thrift stores are probably just ridden with corona. You know what I mean? Like, you step into a thrift store and you're instantly infected. So I think just really searching through the racks and not just like picking out what looks cute from like the side, but really individually looking through each piece is the only way that thrifting is really successful. And as far as online shopping, I don't ever just look through like the dresses or skirts tabs. Like, I always specifically search midi because I just don't feel like searching for hours. And yeah, I know what I like personally for my style. So I just search keywords, and I don't usually search through an entire tab of clothing. I usually just search what I want. And that's kind of how I online shop. And then when I use Poshmark, which is kind of like thrifting, but just online, I search specific brands, and that's kind of how I do that. So if you like to thrift online, you could use Poshmark or Depop or The RealReal, and those are really good spots to find good used clothes. So yeah, I get a lot of stuff on Poshmark, just really nice dresses for conferences, for Easter, weddings, whatever. Like, that's the spot to go to, in my opinion. Why is dressing modestly important to Christ? So I think that dressing modestly is super important. I've seen a lot of things recently online about how it's not important and it's taken out of context, and we're not going to get into all of that because y'all know I can talk about this for a long time, but it definitely is important. It's in the Bible. It's 100% in there. I think people a lot of times will try to say like, well, it's not really in there, like that was taken out of context, and it's like, no, it is in there. You just don't want to do it. So it definitely is in there. The Bible also talks about our bodies being the temple of the Holy Ghost, and I don't want my temple to be, a mockery of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to dress a certain way and draw attention to certain aspects of my body because it's just that's drawing attention to my physical appearance rather than drawing attention to my spirit or drawing attention to my love for others or compassion or whatever. So I think it's important to dress modestly because you're not drawing attention to your outward appearance, but people really get to know you for who you are and what you stand for rather than just what you look like. And I think it also saves others, specifically young men and even older men, because they're not stumbling by staring at you and watching things move around. So yeah, I think it's important, and anyone who says it's not and says it's not in there, they just don't want to do it. So they're just going to use any excuse to not do it. How do you filter your pictures? I've talked about this before, but I use the Aspen Ovard presets on Lightroom, but rather than buying them full price from her because they're like $70, I got them on Etsy for like $4. And I don't watch Aspen. I think I used to watch her when I was like 14, but I just kind of outgrew her channel. But one of my friends was using them and I really liked them, so I asked her to send them to me. Yeah, I mean, not a huge fan of her videos, but she does make some good filters. How's life going? Honestly, life is going good. It's, it's pretty boring right now, but for the most part, it's pretty chill, and I'm happy and healthy, and yeah, can't ask for much else. What is your opinion about all of this craziness on the coronavirus? Well, at first my opinion was like, it's probably not as bad as people are saying and people are blowing this out of proportion, but now my opinion has definitely changed, and I think it's important that we take it seriously and just stay inside because, of course it's boring to be inside and it's not fun at all. But the more that we stay inside and follow what the CDC is saying and kind of just follow your state rules, I think we can knock it out faster and we'll be able to go out and actually enjoy being outside. Because even, before my state went on lockdown, I'd be out and about and I would like internally be freaking out. Like, what if someone coughs on me? And I get it. And I just don't, I get anxiety from things like that. And I don't want to be living in a state of anxiety, so I would rather just stay inside and wait it out rather than go outside and just hope for the best. So my opinion is like, it is serious and just stay inside, How is your college continuing classes? We're doing online classes, but everything is just being like sent in as like documents. I'm not doing any live classes. I don't know why, but my school's just not doing that. We're just doing kind of our assignments on our own and just turning them in on the due dates and watching videos about it. But none of my teachers are doing online lectures. That would be cool though, but yeah, none of them are doing that. How to not feel alone when all of your friends have a boyfriend. Okay, so this is definitely something that I can relate to because pretty much all of my best friends have boyfriends. One of my best friends recently got engaged, so I'm for sure like the one that's kind of behind on all of that. And whenever I did have a boyfriend for a month, I for sure was like, yeah, join the boyfriend club, but that quickly ended. So then I was back to being the only single one again. Two of my really good friends are single, but other than that, like all of my friends have boyfriends or they're, seriously talking to someone or they're engaged. Obviously my sister is my best friend and she's married. So definitely behind on the times. But I think just the way to not feel alone is to just not put all of your energy into that feeling. For me, it's like I've always been very independent, so I've never felt like I needed a man because for me, like I've always had a very strong man in my life, which is my father. So I've never felt like, oh, I need a boyfriend. I was never boy crazy. I never got into like the Snapchat craze that everyone was into in high school. I never got into any of that kind of stuff. I never did anything crazy in high school. So I was just never boy crazy like that. And so I guess I'm just not now because I never was. Of course, it can be weird to like be the single one in the group when everyone's with their boyfriends, but I'm lucky to have friends that they're not all over each other and being super like PDA crazy when everyone's around, because I mean, not that it makes you uncomfortable, but it for sure makes you feel like, oh, like I'm single and everybody else is like all over each other, and but none of my friends are like that. So it's not really something that I'm actively thinking about, like, oh, like why am I still single and everyone has a boyfriend? Like, it's just not something that's really on my mind. So how not to feel alone is, I mean, just don't place your worth in that, because that doesn't define your worth. It's not your time. And that just means that God is spending a lot of extra time molding your future boyfriend and also molding you into being really just perfect partners for each other, so that you don't have to go through a lot of craziness and you can just be together when you're whole. And that's kind of how I think about it, is like, well, God must really be working on my mans, because, I think that God honors the sacrifices that you've made. And because I've made a lot of sacrifices and I haven't done a lot of things, I think God is really just, and this is what I'm hoping for, but this is what I think, is just that God is really preparing someone that will be the perfect man for me. And that's why I haven't met him, because God is really just working on him, and he's also working on me. So that's kind of how I think about it. Can you make more faith-based videos? Yes, I will certainly make more. Definitely be making more soon. Go back to one time in history, what would it be? Also be part of any band, group, past or current. Okay, so if I could go back in time, I would 100% love to live in like the 1700s and get to go to balls and like the really fancy dresses and like the huge wigs and stuff. I just think that that's so cool. And I would love to experience just what a ball is like. I think they're so cool in movies, like the way that they do them. Be a part of any band. I would like be a photographer, like a sound person, or like a groupie or something for One Direction. So I could just be like friends with all of them and be like, yeah, me and Harry, man, like we go way back. I think that'd be cool. How much more college do you have left and any plans for afterwards? So I'm finishing up with community college this year, and then after that I will have about like a year or two left at university. And then my plans for afterwards, I'm planning to be a teacher, probably 2nd or 3rd grade, and hopefully I will be married pretty soon after that, if I ever find someone. How do you stay focused on your goals? Writing them down, reminding myself, not getting distracted with YouTube, TV, movies, friends, just being intentional. I think those are the easiest ways to stay focused. What can I do to make my hair grow faster? Girl, you tell me. Are you good at art, drawing, painting? Absolutely not. I am the least artistic person I know. I am horrible at anything artsy, and I'm not being like one of those like self-deprecating people that's like, I'm horrible at it, but they're actually really good at it. Like, no, I'm horrible at drawing, crafting, painting, anything like that. Ask any of my friends. I'm not an artistic person at all. And I wish I was, but it's just not a gene that I have or a talent that I have. It's easier for girls to stand out as apostolics versus boys. In your opinion, how can guys be better? This is a good question. I think one of the main things that guys need to do as apostolics is clean up your language, okay? I hear apostolic guys all the time talking about things that they should not be. And I think it's so crazy that they feel so comfortable talking about some of these things around other apostolic guys, and that they're all just talking about it. And I'm like, I know for a fact you're talking about that with your non-apostolic friends, and then they're not seeing any sort of difference in you. So I think the main way that guys can stand out as apostolic is cleaning up the way that they talk, not talking about inappropriate things, not trying to be inappropriate with girls, and just being men of integrity and of character. And then also just treating women better, because there's a lot of apostolic guys that treat girls worse than guys that aren't in church at all. So just do better, honestly. Just clean up your mouths, be kinder, be more compassionate, be nicer to girls, and stop acting like they're objects, because they're not. What is your top favorite Christian song right now? The Blessing by Carrie Job and Cody Carnes. So good. Love it. What do you think is the hardest part about being a Christian in a secular world? I think just, being intentional about being different. I think sometimes we get so used to being around certain people and hearing certain things that we almost like get desensitized. And so just making sure that like you're intentionally trying to be a good influence and trying to be different and trying to just, live for God without boundaries and just not allowing other people to change you. Do you always wear skirts and dresses? Yes, I do, 100% of the time. I've never even put on a pair of jeans or pants before. I don't even know what that feels like other than pajamas, because for some reason people think that I sleep in skirts. But yeah, I do. I wear skirts and dresses full time. I always have. So yeah. Do you cut your hair? No, I do not cut my hair. I've never cut my hair. I've never trimmed it. So yeah. Would you ever consider recording and releasing music at all? I would consider it. I just don't really have any desire to do that right now. I'm not really a songwriter and I don't play any instruments. So all I really do is sing. So if someone does write a song and wants me to sing on it or feature on it, I would be down for that, but I don't personally have anything made. And the last question is, what are you doing during this quarantine? So other than filming videos right now, I am trying to read more because I realized other than the Bible, I haven't read anything in a long time. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to stay on top of my homework, trying to stay active. Some ways you can stay active are you can go for a bike ride, you can go for a walk. Those are allowed as long as you're practicing social distancing. Those are 100% allowed. You can play with your dogs, play with your cats, whatever animals you have. You can clean. I just cleaned out my closet and cleaned my whole room and just deep cleaned a lot of different places in my house. You can FaceTime a friend. You can go live. You can write a song. You can sing a song. You can learn a TikTok dance as a way to exercise. I tried to learn one yesterday and realized that I have no rhythm. I'm actually like, I'm low-key, like kind of like I can kind of like, ooh, you know? Yeah, so just kind of stay active. Don't allow yourself to go into a funk. Those are kind of like my ideas for what to do during quarantine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for all the questions that you guys sent in. And if you guys would like, I can do another one of these next week or in 2 weeks, and we can kind of make this a thing until quarantine's over. But yeah, other than that, don't forget to follow me on my social medias. Leave a comment down below for any videos you'd like to see during this time, as well as just in the future. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.